A nurse assists an elderly man, only to realize he's a billionaire's father. In the heart of Willow Springs, a town weathered by economic storms, Anna's world revolved around the nursing home, the only job she could find. On most days, the monotony felt suffocating. But today was different. Today she was assigned to Harold, an elderly man who seemed unremarkable, sitting quietly in a corner. Just another patient, she thought, his wrinkled hands resting on his lap, a faded smile barely flickering on his lips. But as she administered his medication, Anna noticed something unusual. His eyes sparkled with a hint of mischief, and his laughter bubbled up like an unexpected melody. It sent shivers down her spine. "I once had a collection of rare coins," he said, his voice gravelly yet warm. "Now they're all just stories racked in memories." Intrigued, Anna leaned in closer. As she unwound the bandages from Harold's brittle hands, she caught glimpses of faded ink, tattoos that hinted at a life far more colorful than his current existence. Each line whispered secrets of travels to distant lands and playful adventures with a family, long lost to time. It was impossible not to feel a pang of loneliness in her chest. She had her own family issues, estrangement that lingered like a shadow. Days turned into weeks. As Anna poured her heart into caring for Harold, their conversations grew deeper. He shared stories of a vibrant youth, of love found and lost, of dreams sacrificed at the altar of obligation. With each story, Anna felt a deepening connection. He was becoming a father figure to her in ways she didn't know she needed. Then he revealed a shocking detail, barely a whisper. A fortune hidden away, a significant inheritance he had left behind. It wasn't just a lot of money, it was a legacy. "My estranged son," he muttered, sadness punctuating his words. "He's out there, lost like me." Everything shifted when a well-dressed stranger floated into the nursing home one afternoon, all sharp edges and suspicion. He was a relative, seeking Harold's wealth with an avarice that was hard to miss, like vultures circling a wounded animal. "What's this?" he sneered, observing Anna's gentle touch, a nurse playing pretend family. Anna's heart raced. She had built a sanctuary for these fragile souls, and this man threatened to shatter it with his greed. Fear pulsated beneath her skin as she overheard plans that made her stomach churn. He intended to take Harold away, strip him of his independence, and pocket whatever riches he could find. The words hung in the air like a heavy fog, threatening to engulf her. "Harold," she whispered, panic creeping into her voice. "We need to talk." But as she faced him, caught between the life she had nurtured and the new threat looming on the horizon, a glacier of doubt crashed over her. Was it time to expose Harold's identity and let the past flood back into their lives? Or would she protect the man who had become her anchor? Anna stood at a crossroads, heart pounding, emotions swirling. The choice loomed over her, the stakes infinitely high. "Hey, before we continue with this incredible story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Just take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content coming up. And since you're here, smash that like button because it really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who is part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact." Anna stood there, heart racing, the weight of her decision heavy and oppressive. Harold looked at her, confusion knitting his brow. "What's wrong, dear?" he asked, his voice a gentle rumble in the tense air. Before she could answer, the door swung open. In walked the stranger, all crisp suit and cold eyes. "I've heard enough," he declared, cutting through the fragile calm like a knife. The tension thickened, the air almost crackling with danger. "Who are you?" Anna demanded, her voice steady despite the storm brewing inside her. The man gave her a dismissive glance. "Just dealing with family matters. You know how it is." "Matters like trying to take Harold away?" she shot back, anger sparking in her. chest, but before he could respond, a loud bang echoed through the nursing home. All heads turned as a figure stumbled in from the hallway, clutching a folded piece of paper, eyes wide in shock. "Stop," the nurse shouted, breathless and panicked. She stumbled, nearly falling over her own feet. "You have to see this." The room fell silent, everyone on edge. Harold leaned forward, curiosity piqued. "What is it?" She unfolded the paper, revealing a letter, a legal document of some sort. The words were barely legible, but Anna saw the name, Harold Miller, a trust established decades ago. "This is about the fortune," the nurse stammered, her voice trembling. "He's not just any elderly man. He's a billionaire." Gasps erupted, shocking gasps, that echoed off the walls. Anna's heart dropped. Was Harold rich? Could this be true? The stranger smirked, but Anna could see the pulse of panic running through him now. Before anyone could react, Harold's expression shifted dramatically. "What are you talking about?" he croaked. Disbelief etched on his face. "I didn't leave anything. I had to give it all up." Everyone froze, tension tightening like a noose. The stranger's confident facade cracked, revealing something darker, something desperate. "You don't even remember," he growled, eyes narrowing. "You have no idea what you lost." That moment felt like it stretched into eternity. The nurse's trembling hands betrayed her shock. "Harold," Anna breathed, her heart pounding. What did he mean? Harold's face fell. Shadows of buried secrets crawling to the surface. I never wanted any of it," he whispered, tears glistening in the corners of his eyes. "I did what I had to for my family." "Your family?" Anna had to know. What happened? Harold shook his head, overwhelmed by a tide of memories. But the stranger laughed cruelly, stepping forward, his voice dripping with disdain. "I guess it's time you remembered." As he reached into his pocket, Anna felt an icy chill slide down her spine. What would come next? Would the truth tear their world apart? The stranger pulled out a flash drive, holding it like a weapon. "This contains everything. Secrets, lies, and it's all coming home." Anna's breath hitched in her throat. What could it contain? And what would it mean for Harold, for her? The pieces of their lives were spinning wildly, now threatening to collide. "Don't!" Harold cried, but the stranger's smile widened, a predator cornering its prey. "Oh, but it's too late. Time to face your past." The tension was palpable, the weight of the moment crashing down on them all. Anna stood frozen, heart racing, a storm brewing inside her. What had Harold hidden? And would the truth ruin everything they'd built together? The answer loomed like a shadow, dark and terrifying. The tension was like a taut wire, vibrating in the air as Anna's heart raced. Harold's face twisted in confusion, shadows of doubt swirling in his eyes. "What are you talking about?" he croaked, disbelief wrapping around his words. The stranger stepped closer, his expensive watch catching the overhead light, glinting like a knife. "He doesn't remember, because he doesn't want to." He laughed, the sound slicing through the air, chilling. "Let's face it, this man was drowning in money and chose to live like this." Harold's shoulders slumped. "I didn't forget. I wanted to leave it behind," he whispered, eyes darting to Anna, searching for something, anything, to anchor him in this chaos. But before Anna could question him, the nurse with the document gasped again, her eyes wide with terror. The door slammed open, banging against the wall. Another figure stumbled in, all panic and purpose. A young woman, maybe in her 30s, her eyes frantic, breath coming in sharp. Gasps. "Stop this. You have to stop." The room froze. Who was she? "Stay back," the stranger snapped, his smile disappearing, eyes narrowing menacingly. "No, I'm here for my father," she shouted, voice cracking under the weight of desperation. Gasps erupted, shock rippling through the crowd. Anna's stomach dropped. Who was this woman, and what did she mean by father? The stranger's face went pale, the bravado slipping like sand through his fingers. "Your father," he stammered, glancing back at Harold with panic. "You can't be serious." "Oh, but I am." The woman stepped closer, defiant, her jaw set. Harold Miller is my father. And you've been lying to me. Anna's mind raced. The pieces didn't add up. Was Harold really this woman's father? The implications flooded her thoughts, sending a bewildering rush through her veins. Don't listen to her, the stranger spat, anger flaring. She's just trying to take what's not hers. Not hers? The woman shot back. I'm the only heir left, the only one he. Her voice cracked, emotions spilling over. He thought I was gone, that I wouldn't come back. But I've been looking for him. What was happening? Anna's heart thudded in her chest as she watched Harold's face, pale now, absorbing shock after shock. The woman approached him, tears welling in her eyes. Dad, is that really you? Harold opened his mouth, but no sound came out. His confusion was palpable, raw, as if the very fabric of his reality was being pulled apart. I lost you. How could you be here? The air crackled with questions, undercurrents of betrayal and hope woven tightly together. Whispers rose around them, murmurs and gasps echoing, planting seeds of disbelief. Anna felt a tightness in her throat. Everything she thought she knew was imploding. Was Harold lying? Had he really turned his back on his family to fade into anonymity? And this young woman, she held the key to a past buried deep beneath the weight of secrets. The stranger took a step back, panic flooding his sharp features. This can't be happening. He pulled the flash drive from his pocket, gripping it like a lifeline. You're meddling with powers you don't understand. But you brought this on yourself. The woman shot back, her voice rising like a storm. You thought you could control him by keeping him from his family. Anna's mind raced as she processed the chaos. Would Harold finally face his past? Would this young woman shatter whatever wasn't broken? Dad, please. I need to know the truth, she pressed, tears spilling over, glistening like raw wounds. The air felt heavy, thick as molasses. Harold's gaze flicked between the two, the weight of his life pressing down on him like a collapsing building. Every moment felt pregnant with possibility, laced with danger. And nearby, the nurse's hands trembled, still clutching her paper. The absolute truth waiting to upend them all. What's on that drive? Anna whispered, her voice barely a thread among the chaos. Would it unravel everything? The question lingered in the room like a thundercloud, dark and menacing. What would happen now? Could the truth save them, or ruin everything they fought for? The air crackled with tension, thick with the weight of unspoken truths. Anna's heart raced, emotions swirling as she tried to piece together this fragmented puzzle. Harold sat frozen, confusion painting his face, while the young woman's determination shone through her tears. Harold, are you really my dad? She pressed, her voice trembling like a fragile string ready to snap. Everyone held their breath, wrapped in this fragile moment. But just as Harold opened his mouth to respond, the stranger's phone buzzed violently from his pocket, ripping through the stillness like a gunshot. His confident facade shattered. Gamut, he cursed, pulling the device out, his hands shaking. The screen flashed urgent alerts, rich with implications that left everyone on edge. No, not now. A shock on his face twisted into something darker, a tempest brewing in his chest. He glanced up at the young woman, eyes narrowing. Suddenly, all the bravado fell away, replaced by something raw and desperate. Who told you? He demanded, voice low and dangerous. I was supposed to handle this. You weren't supposed to find out. What are you talking about? The woman shot back, confusion morphing into anger. I'm here for my father. You can't just keep him from me. But the man was shaking his head violently. You don't know what you're getting into, he hissed. You think you want this? You have no idea what he's involved in. What do you mean? Anna interjected, grabbing onto the thread of this revelation, trying to make sense of it all. What do you know about Harold? The stranger took a deep breath. It was an odd mix of fear and fury that twisted his features. Harold Miller isn't just anyone. He's not just a lost father. He has enemies, powerful ones. A collective murmur rippled through the crowd, eyes darting between Harold and the man. Anna felt the knot in her stomach tighten, fear snaking through her veins. Enemies? Harold's voice cracked, as if the word alone weighed a ton. "What do you mean?" the stranger smirked, a twisted smile creeping across his lips. "Did you really think you could walk away from it all? You can't escape your past, old man. Not when it keeps haunting you. And now it's back. It's close." Everyone in the room held their breath, frozen. Anna's throat felt tight, and an unshakable dread settled over her like a heavy blanket. "What are you saying?" the young woman cried, desperation lacing her voice. The stranger stepped closer, eyes dancing with dark intent. "You see, your father made some very dangerous choices, and whether he likes it or not, he's being pulled back into a world he left behind." "What world?" Anna felt the tension knot deeper. "What did Harold do?" The man chuckled darkly, glancing at each face, absorbing their fear. He was a clever businessman, but he was also a player in a game far more dangerous than you can imagine. A game that involves secrets, wealth, and threats that could shatter worlds. The silence hung heavy, a looming storm that threatened to drown them. "Secrets?" the young woman whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. "What could be so terrible that you wouldn't want me to know?" With a flick of impatience, the stranger waved the flash drive in the air, a dark trophy of hidden truths. "This holds everything. Everything you've both been missing. And it's about to change lives forever." Suddenly, the ground beneath them seemed to tremble, a bold promise of things to come. Anna's heart thundered in her chest, each beat pounding a warning. Whatever was on that drive wasn't just information, it was a trigger, a detonator for hidden histories and devastating revelations. The room felt charged, the air electric with uncertainty. What had Harold truly been hiding? Would the past consume everything they had built together? What secrets had he kept buried? As the weight of these questions swirled, tension coiled tighter, and just then, the lights flickered ominously overhead. For a heartbeat, the room plunged into darkness, a void that swallowed every whispered fear. Gasps echoed, panic reverberating in the dim light. And when the lights flickered back on, the stranger was gone. One moment he was there, and the next, he vanished into thin air. Where had he gone? Was this a warning or an escape? Anna's mind raced. What had just happened? What was truly at stake? In that fragile moment, with shadows closing in, Anna stared at Harold and the young woman, both looking just as lost and bewildered. The only certainty now was that they were caught in a storm that promised to tear their lives apart, and they had no idea how deep the secrets ran. What came next? What awaited them as they stepped into this unforeseen chaos? The air remained charged, thick with uncertainty, as Anna blinked against the bright light that flooded back into the room. The stranger had vanished, leaving behind a dim echo of his words, a chilling promise that things were far from over. The young woman before her, Harold's daughter, was kneeling, trembling, desperation shimmering in her eyes. "Dad," she breathed, reaching out, fingers brushing against Harold's frail hand. "It's me. I've waited so long." But Harold recoiled, confusion deepening. I don't know you." The words cut sharp, like glass tearing through tender skin. Anna's heart twisted. This was supposed to be a reunion, something so joyful. Instead, it felt like a storm brewing. "Please, don't say that," she cried, tears gathering, blurring her vision. "I've searched everywhere for you. It's been so hard without you." Harold turned away, his jaw clenched, a flood of emotions washing over his face. Regret, fear, guilt. "I chose this life," he whispered. "I thought I was protecting you." The young woman's breath caught. "Protecting me?" A bitter laugh escaped her lips. "You've been hiding all this time. You didn't even try to find me." The tension twisted tighter. Anna felt like she was caught in a web, each thread a whisper, a secret. The room buzzed with murmurs, the other residents, nurses, all caught in this chaotic reunion drenched in heartbreak. Suddenly, the door creaked open again, and an old security guard shuffled in, carrying a tattered envelope. His brow was furrowed, eyes darting between the swirling chaos. "I need to talk to you all. This just came for Harold." "What now?" the young woman snapped, frustration boiling over. He handed the envelope to Anna, his hands trembling. It came from the law office, said it was urgent. Anna opened it quickly, the words just blurring together, catching glimpses of legal jargon until one line froze her cold. In light of recent discoveries, all assets previously held by Harold Miller are to be surrendered immediately. A collective gasp echoed through the room. Harold's eyes widened, panic flashing across his features. What does that mean? His voice cracked, trembling. It means someone's moving to take everything, Anna whispered, fear gnawing at her gut. But before anyone could process that bombshell, the lights flickered again, this time plunging them into darkness once more. A deafening crash echoed, and chaos erupted. The stark silence shattered as the emergency lights flickered on, casting an eerie glow. Anna stumbled back, eyes wide, heart pounding. In that flickering light, something extraordinary happened. The stranger materialized once more, but this time he wasn't alone. A tall, ominous figure stepped behind him, cloaked in shadows, like a nightmare trying to force its way into reality. "What did I tell you?" the newcomer snarled, eyes blazing. "This isn't over. Harold, you have no idea what you've stumbled into." The stranger smiled, that same predatory grin. But it wasn't the same. There was a fear creeping into his stance, a palpable raw fear. Anna's blood ran cold. What had they awakened? Harold's daughter stepped forward, trembling but determined. "Who are you?" she demanded, a quiver in her voice. The newcomer reached out, latching a hand onto the stranger's shoulder, twisting him back. "You didn't think you could keep this from me, did you? I know everything." The room gasped, and Anna's heart thudded hard enough to drown out the chaos. This was all spiraling out of control. The man's grip tightened, shadows clawing at the edges of the emergency lights, warping their fragile safety. Everything? Anna barely breathed, fear coiling. Secrets, whispers. What else was there left to uncover? "Everything," the figure repeated, voice a low rumble that sent shivers down her spine. "And it's time for you all to face what you truly are, Harold." Was it the darkness closing in, or the light of truth lifting the veil? Anna's world spun as she realized nothing would ever be the same. Again, as the shadows loomed ever closer, she could only think one thing. What hidden truths would this reveal? And would they shatter them all? The air remained charged, thick with uncertainty, as Anna blinked against the bright light that flooded back into the room. The stranger had vanished, leaving behind a dim echo of his words, a chilling promise that things were far from over. The young woman before her, Harold's daughter, was kneeling, trembling, desperation shimmering in her eyes. "Dad," she breathed, reaching out, fingers brushing against Harold's frail hand. "It's me. I've waited so long." But Harold recoiled, confusion deepening. "I don't know you." The words cut sharp, like glass tearing through tender skin. Anna's heart twisted. This was supposed to be a reunion, something so joyful. Instead, it felt like a storm brewing. "Please, don't say that," she cried, tears gathering, blurring her vision. "I've searched everywhere for you. It's been so hard without you." Harold turned away, his jaw clenched, a flood of emotions washing over his face. Regret, fear, guilt. "I chose this life," he whispered. "I thought I was protecting you." The young woman's breath caught. "Protecting me?" A bitter laugh escaped her lips. "You've been hiding all this time. You didn't even try to find me." The tension twisted tighter. Anna felt like she was caught in a web, each thread a whisper, a secret. The room buzzed with murmurs. The other residents, nurses, all caught in this chaotic reunion, drenched in heartbreak. Suddenly the door creaked open again, and an old security guard shuffled in, carrying a tattered envelope. His brow was furrowed, eyes darting between the swirling chaos. "I need to talk to you all. This just came for Harold." "What now?" the young woman snapped, frustration boiling over. He handed the envelope to Anna, his hands trembling. "It came from the law office. Said it was urgent." Anna opened it quickly, the words just blurring together, catching glimpses of legal jargon until one line froze her cold. In light of recent discoveries, all assets previously held by Harold Miller are to be surrendered immediately. A collective gasp echoed through the room. Harold's eyes widened, panic flashing across his features. What does that mean? His voice cracked, trembling. It means someone's moving to take everything, Anna whispered, fear gnawing at her gut. But before anyone could process that bombshell, the lights flickered again, this time plunging them into darkness once more. A deafening crash echoed, and chaos erupted. The stark silence shattered as the emergency lights flickered on, casting an eerie glow. Anna stumbled back, eyes wide, heart pounding. In that flickering light, something extraordinary happened. The stranger materialized once more, but this time he wasn't alone. A tall, ominous figure stepped behind him, cloaked in shadows, like a nightmare trying to force its way into reality. "What did I tell you?" the newcomer snarled, eyes blazing. "This isn't over, Harold. You have no idea what you've stumbled into." The stranger smiled. That same predatory grin, but it wasn't the same. There was a fear creeping into his stance, a palpable, raw fear. Anna's blood ran cold. What had they awakened? Harold's daughter stepped forward, trembling but determined. "Who are you?" she demanded, a quiver in her voice. The newcomer reached out, latching a hand onto the stranger's shoulder, twisting him back. "You didn't think you could keep this from me, did you? I know everything." The room gasped, and Anna's heart thudded hard enough to drown out the chaos. This was all spiraling out of control. The man's grip tightened, shadows clawing at the edges of the emergency lights, warping their fragile safety. "Everything?" Anna barely breathed, fear snaking through her veins. Secrets, whispers, what else was there left to uncover? "Everything," the figure repeated, voice a low rumble that sent shivers down her spine. "And it's time for you all to face what you truly are, Harold." Was it the darkness closing in, or the light of truth lifting the veil? Anna's world spun as she realized nothing would ever be the same again. Suddenly the stranger turned, eyes wild, and dropped to one knee, holding his head in his hands. "No, please, I didn't mean for it to end like this," he shouted, panic thickening the air. "What do you mean?" the woman snapped, stepping forward, confusion morphing into anger. The shadows began to shift and swirl, coalescing into something more than a mere darkness, revealing a flickering image behind them, haunting and familiar, an image of Harold's past, happy moments, flashing through her like shards of glass cutting deep. Anna gasped as one frame flickered to life. Harold, young and alive, standing next to a woman, his eyes lit up in joy, arms wrapped tightly around her as she laughed, the kind of laughter that fractures hearts from lost time. "That's my mother?" the young woman breathed, shock emanating from her. "Yes," the figure said, stepping forward, a glimmer of recognition flashing across his face. "You see, Harold never wanted to leave. He was forced to." "Shut up," Harold yelled suddenly, a fire igniting in his frail body. "You don't know anything, but—" The shadows rippled again, revealing more secrets, exposing deeper cuts. "You left her," the figure continued, voice rising. "You abandoned your family, and now you'll pay for it." The air ignited with tension, the room swirling with disbelief and tension. Anna felt her throat tighten, her heart racing. "What is happening?" she screamed, but no one answered. With a sickening crack, the emergency lights began to flicker and dim, shadows creeping toward them, alive and hungry. "Run!" someone shouted, but Anna stood frozen, staring at Harold, at the terrified faces around her, questions tumbling through her like a storm. What was the truth they couldn't face? What else had Harold hidden? And could they escape the darkness that threatened to swallow them whole? The air remained charged, thick with uncertainty, as Anna blinked against the bright light that flooded back into the room. The stranger had vanished, leaving behind a dim echo of his words, a chilling promise that things were far from over. The young woman before her, Harold's daughter, was kneeling, trembling, desperation shimmering in her eyes. "Dad," she breathed, reaching out, fingers brushing against Harold's frail hand. "It's me. I've waited so long." But Harold recoiled, confusion deepening. I don't know you." The words cut sharp, like glass tearing through tender skin. Anna's heart twisted. This was supposed to be a reunion, something so joyful. Instead, it felt like a storm brewing. "Please, don't say that," she cried, tears gathering, blurring her vision. "I've searched everywhere for you. It's been so hard without you." Harold turned away, his jaw clenched, a flood of emotions washing over his face. Regret, fear, guilt. "I chose this life," he whispered. "I thought I was protecting you." The young woman's breath caught. "Protecting me?" A bitter laugh escaped her lips. "You've been hiding all this time. You didn't even try to find me." Tension twisted tight. Anna felt like she was caught in a web, each thread a whisper, a secret. The room buzzed with murmurs, the other residents, nurses, all caught in this chaotic reunion, drenched in heartbreak. Suddenly, the door creaked open again, and an old security guard shuffled in, carrying a tattered envelope. His brow was furrowed, eyes darting between the swirling chaos. "I need to talk to you all. This just came for Harold." "What now?" the young woman snapped, frustration boiling over. He handed the envelope to Anna, his hands trembling. It came from the law office. Said it was urgent. Anna opened it quickly, the words just blurring together, catching glimpses of legal jargon until one line froze her cold. "In light of recent discoveries, all assets previously held by Harold Miller are to be surrendered immediately." A collective gasp echoed through the room. Harold's eyes widened, panic flashing across his features. "What does that mean?" His voice cracked, trembling. "It means someone's moving to take everything," Anna whispered, fear gnawing at her gut. But before anyone could process that bombshell, the lights flickered again, this time plunging them into darkness once more. A deafening crash echoed, and chaos erupted. The stark silence shattered as the emergency lights flickered on, casting an eerie glow. Anna stumbled back, eyes wide, heart pounding. In that flickering light, something extraordinary happened. The stranger materialized once more, but this time, he wasn't alone. A tall, ominous figure stepped behind him, cloaked in shadows, like a nightmare trying to force its way into reality. "What did I tell you?" the newcomer snarled, eyes blazing. "This isn't over. Harold, you have no idea what you've stumbled into." The stranger smiled, that same predatory grin, but it wasn't the same. There was a fear creeping into his stance, a palpable, raw fear. Anna's blood ran cold. What had they awakened? Harold's daughter stepped forward, trembling but determined. "Who are you?" she demanded, a quiver in her voice. The newcomer reached out, latching a hand onto the stranger's shoulder, twisting him back. "You didn't think you could keep this from me, did you? I know everything." The room gasped, and Anna's heart thudded hard enough to drown out the chaos. This was all spiraling out of control. The man's grip tightened, shadows clawing at the edges of the emergency lights, warping their fragile safety. "Everything?" Anna barely breathed, fear snaking through her veins. "Secrets, whispers. What else was there left to uncover?" "Everything," the figure repeated, voice a low rumble that sent shivers down her spine. "And it's time for you all to face what you truly are, Harold." In that very moment, the young woman opened her mouth, poised to lash out, but then she froze. Her eyes widened in disbelief, trembling lips parting as if the ground had shifted beneath her. "But no, it can't be," she stammered, pulling away. "What do you mean?" the stranger demanded, each word laced with urgency, his facade cracking. Then the shadows surged forward, engulfing the stranger, swallowing him whole. A terrified scream echoed from his lips as the darkness wrapped around him like a vice. And just like that, the lights flickered back on. But they weren't alone anymore. A figure stood in the doorway, backlit by a harsh glow. Familiarity, Cut. Deep, paralyzing Anna. The air turned electric as realization hit like a tidal wave. Mom? Harold's voice broke, shattered whispers tumbling from him. The woman stepped into the room, her face a mirror of Harold's, carved with pain, anger, but also unmistakable love. I had to come back, she said, voice steady, like she had never left. It was never about the money, Harold. It's you. It's always been you. The daughter gasped, looking between them, the pieces tumbling into disarray as truths shattered her already fragile world. What? You're alive? A silence gripped the room, everyone frozen in disbelief. The truth unraveled, spinning threads of love, secrets, and betrayal. What had been hidden for so long was now bursting into view, like a raw wound laid bare. As emotion surged, Anna felt her heart race. This revelation twisted everything. Who was this woman? What did it mean for Harold's daughter? The echoes of the past clawed at their present, leaving them all gasping. The weight of their shared history loomed ominously. What would happen now? Would this break them apart, or weave them closer together? In the thick of that charged silence, Anna's heart thundered, questions bubbling just beneath the surface. Could they navigate this storm, or would it break them all? The room fell into stunned silence, eyes darting between the newly arrived woman and Harold, who stood frozen, mouth slightly agape, grappling with a surge of memories. I had to come back, she said again, urgency in her voice, as if her presence alone could bridge the years of absence. But then a sharp gasp broke the tension. The young woman, Harold's daughter, staggered backward, pressing a shaking hand to her mouth. No, she whispered. This can't be happening. Can't be happening? The newcomer shot back, desperation lacing her tone. I thought you were lost to me. Tears glistened in her eyes, raw and exposed. Anna felt the weight of the moment, a coiled tension thick enough to cut. She watched as Harold took a hesitant step forward, reaching out as if the years could melt away with a touch. I missed you, he croaked, voice cracking like aged wood. But just as the hope flickered, an alarm shattered the fragile. Peace. The shrill sound pierced through the room, sending hearts racing. Anna's stomach dropped. What's happening? Panic rippled through the gathered crowd. Then the ground shook. Everyone staggered, eyes wide with fear. An earthquake? Someone shouted. But it was more than that. The lights flickered violently before plunging them into darkness again. Chaos erupted. People stumbled, calling out to each other, unsure of what to do. In the confusion, Anna grasped for something, anything to steady herself. When the lights flickered back on, the scene had transformed. The stranger stood in the corner, but he looked different, like a shadow leaking into the light. You fools, he howled, eyes wild, face pale. You're all playing a dangerous game. In that moment of disbelief, a thud resonated from the back of the room. A body lay sprawled lifeless against the wall. Get back, Anna yelled, heart pounding in her ears. The crowd erupted in screams. Fear spread like wildfire, and people rushed to the exit. But Anna stood frozen, eyes wide as she recognized the face. It was Harold's old acquaintance, the one who had come looking for him, the one who had sought to manipulate him for money. Why? Why would he come here? She gasped, disbelief morphing into horror. Then, everything shifted again. The newcomer, the woman who claimed to be Harold's long-lost wife, let out a strangled scream, stumbling away from Harold. No, you can't be him. You can't be the father I hated. What? Harold's voice wavered, confusion, morphing into desperation. What do you mean? But the words hung heavy in the air, weighted with old wounds. As she moved toward the body, her face paled, then darkened with rage. You turned your back on us. You chose money over family. The echo of her accusations resonated, raw and painful. You've hidden the truth all this time. A collective gasp rippled through the nursing home. Each person looked at the scene unfolding, the shared history clawing at them, revealing undercurrents that twisted every relationship in unimaginable ways. Hidden what? Harold stammered, confusion blanketing the hurt. No, she shouted, voice cracking. You don't get to play the victim now, Harold. You abandoned us both. Anna felt the ground shift beneath her. The room felt smaller. The walls closed in. Everything she thought she knew unraveled before her eyes. But then another shockwave hit. The doors burst open again. A team of officers stormed in, their grim faces cutting through the lingering chaos. "Hands where we can see them," a voice barked, demanding authority amid the turmoil. "Wait, what's happening?" Anna cried out, her heart racing faster. "Harold Miller, you're under arrest," one of the officers shouted, handcuffs gleaming ominously in their grasp. The horror sliced through the room, deeper than the shock of the lifeless form on the floor. "I didn't do anything," Harold pleaded, eyes wide with panic. But the truth was veiled in secrecy, and Anna realized then, beneath all the drama and heartache, something darker loomed. An intricate web of lies spun around them, rooting deeper into the soil of their lives than anyone could have imagined. What was hidden in Harold's past? What truth would emerge from this shattering moment? The very ground was shifting, and Anna felt it. The turmoil was far from over. Would they ever see daylight again? The room buzzed with chaos, everyone on edge. Harold's eyes darted between the two officers, the newcomer and his daughter. Confusion stewing in the air like a thick fog. "You have to believe me. I didn't do anything," he pleaded, hands trembling. But the officer stepped forward, unyielding. "You're under arrest for fraud and conspiracy, Mr. Miller." "Fraud?" Harold exclaimed, his voice breaking. "I'm innocent. I've done nothing wrong." In that moment, everything unraveled. Anna's heart raced, pounding a frantic rhythm as she watched the bewildered faces around her. The young woman, his daughter, recoiled, shock etched into her features. "What's happening? How can you do this?" The officer shifted, frustration mingling with compassion. "We have evidence, ties to organized crime, money laundering." His voice trailed off, needing no further explanation. Anna staggered back, trying to process it all. She felt like a marionette with severed strings, drifting in a storm of confusion and dread. But before she could ask questions or make sense of the chaos, the lights flickered again, flooding the room with blinding brightness before the shadows cast their eerie pall. And then the unexpected happened. A loud crash echoed through the nursing home, followed by a series of thuds. From the corridor emerged a tall, imposing figure, rugged and wild, dust kicking up at his heavy boots. "Harold, get away from them," he bellowed, urgency electrifying his voice. "They're not who they say they are." Everyone froze, heads snapping toward the entrance. The tension in the room thickened, nearly suffocating. Anna's heart raced even faster, a whirlwind of emotions battling within her. "Who are you?" The young woman's voice trembled, weaving confusion and dread. Harold turned as if a spell had cast him, jaw tightening. "What are you talking about?" But the newcomer charged forward, fear etched into his features, his eyes darting between the officers and Harold. "They want to take you away. They'll plant evidence. You have to trust me." Anna's eyes narrowed. She'd thought she was in the middle of a straightforward ordeal, but this was something else. "Wait, how do you know Harold?" "I know more than you think," he shot back, voice a razor's edge. "Years ago, we worked together, and things went horribly wrong." "You?" Harold's voice quivered. "I thought you were gone." "I was," the man said, pain flickering in his eyes. "But now I'm here to fix this. You have to listen to me." Biting against her ribcage. "Something's very wrong," the man murmured, brow furrowed. "They're not just after money. They're out for revenge." The air became electric, dread wrapping around them like a vice. "What do you mean? Who's seeking revenge?" But before he could explain, the young woman gasped, tears streaming down her cheeks as she scrabbled through the crowd, eyes wild. "No, don't do this." She ripped open the envelope that had been handed to Anna, and the contents poured out like dead leaves caught in a storm. Photos, documents, all outlined in secrecy. "You sold us out. You left us with nothing." "Sold you out?" Harold shot back, panic flooding his voice. "That's it," the stranger interjected, voice taut, eyes wide with realization. He never left willingly. You thought he abandoned you, but the truth is deeper than you know. He had to escape to protect you. But then, a deeper truth erupted from the shadows. The photo she held revealed more than supposed betrayal. Anna blinked, seeing faces from her own past. Friends, family, even old co-workers, all entangled in malicious deals. "Harold, what's happening?" Anna gasped, grasping at the truth hanging like a sword above them. But the pieces were sliding into place. As the chilling wind howled through the cracked windows, she realized there was more at play than a simply tangled web of relationships. It was a conspiracy, a prison made not of bars, but of betrayal. The room echoed with fear and uncertainty. Every heart raced in tandem. The stranger's words loomed large, unsaid truths twisting within them like barbed wire. "Who are we really dealing with?" Anna whispered, fear entwined with desperation. And in that moment, the frail scaffold of their lives began to shatter. Would they unravel this dark tapestry, or would the truth spiral them deeper into the abyss? Only one thing remained clear. Nothing was what it seemed. The room crackled with tension, the air thick with unspoken truths. Anna's heart raced as she watched Harold grapple with the weight of his past. "What do you mean, revenge?" he implored, desperation lacing his voice. The newcomer held his gaze, a fierce determination burning in his eyes. "They want to reclaim their power over you, Harold. Your past. Actions have consequences, and they're finally coming for you." Shockwaves rippled through the crowd. Anna could see fear reflected in everyone's eyes. The other residents, the officers, even Harold's daughter. It felt like a dam had broken. Secrets surged forth, and they were all swept into the tide. "Please," Harold whispered, his voice trembling as he stepped closer to the man. "Help me understand. I thought I could leave it all behind." "No, you can't just run away," the woman cried, tears streaming down her face. "You have to face it. We deserve answers, not more lies." Suddenly, the lights flickered again, sending shadows dancing across the walls. Anna felt the panic rise, her throat tightening. What if we can't escape this? But in that moment, Harold found a flicker of resolve, an ember reigniting within him. "I won't let them take me, or my family, again. I will fight." Before the officers could respond, the newcomer lunged forward, grabbing Harold's arm. "We need to get out of here, now." Without a moment's hesitation, Anna stepped in, heart hammering. "I'll help you, we'll figure this out together." She was surprised by her own courage, her voice echoing through the chaos like a lifeline. They moved as one. Adrenaline surging, urgency consuming them. The older residents pleaded, confusion ringing in their voices, but Anna didn't look back. She could feel every heartbeat, sense every ripple of fear, growing heavier with each step. As they burst through the doors, the bright daylight struck them, sharp and overwhelming. Sunlight poured over them, illuminating their faces, washing away some of the shadows that had clung so tightly. "Where do we go?" Harold's daughter cried, still shaking, but determination flickered in her eyes. "Back to the house," the newcomer replied, urgency flashing in his eyes. "It's the only place we can confront this." "Yes," Anna agreed. "We can't let fear control us any longer." As they hurried down the street, adrenaline pulsing through them, they felt a flicker of hope growing, mingled with determination. They would uncover the truth together, and maybe, just maybe, they could rebuild their shattered lives from the ashes. At the house, they slammed the door shut, hearts racing. Inside, each of them stood, ready to face what lurked in the darkness of their shared history. "Harold," Anna said, a warmth spreading through her, "whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Family means everything." Tears glimmered in Harold's eyes, vulnerability breaking through his stoic facade. "Thank you for never giving up on me," he whispered. "I thought I lost everything. But maybe we can find our way back." As they huddled together, they knew the fight was far from over. But for the first time in years, they held the power to write their own story. A story not defined by fear, but by love and resilience. And in that moment, in the light illuminating their faces, they understood that healing would take time, but with each other's support, they could move forward into the unknown. Embracing the possibility of hope, they vowed to stand together against the shadows, reclaiming their lives with fierce determination. Don't wait any longer. This is the moment to show your support. You have to subscribe right now to the channel so you don't miss any of the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button because it really helps with the algorithm. Flood the comments with your thoughts and theories about this ending. And for the love of stories, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this all concludes. Don't wait even one more second to share this. Real fans know how crucial it is to support the channel.